So we got another new video clip about NASCAR Heat 3. I wasn't going to make a video about it, but the more I really watched it and the more I really thought about it, by the sounds of this video clip, it seems like they fixed almost everything wrong with NASCAR Heat 2. Well, at least the gameplay part. So this is definitely something I really do want to talk about. We're going to roll the clip, and then we'll talk about it.
So this year in NASCAR Heat 3, we've spent a lot of time working on the AI. We made the top difficulty levels even more difficult. These AI cars will challenge you. If you give them an inch, they'll take it from you. The pitting experience should be much more realistic this year. So the handling of the cars is more refined. We are aware that if we make every AI car wreck when you tap them, then it would just be a wreck fest, and that wouldn't be fun. But we were able to tighten up like your car's handling model as well, so you're not going to be quite as loosey-goosey as you might have been when you touched that car as you were in years past. We've been able to get more out of our graphics engine to make it more realistic than it ever has. We realize that the garage feature that we have in the game, which is back, but there are a lot of knobs and whistles and gadgets, just a lot to take in. So what we did is we created 9 new pre-setups for our players.
I love that we have those options there for the players that really want to get into the nuts and bolts of how these cars handles. But if you don't, those pre-built setups are so much fun.
Always consider when you're going to a racetrack, especially for the first time, is build your race car with a very stable setup. So you can get out there and you can get some laps underneath your belt, and then you can start to tune on your race car.
NASCAR Heat 3 does have the look around cam and look back camera.
All right, clear outside, clear all around.
One of the biggest things to being a good NASCAR driver is understanding when to brake coming into the turns. Practice mode has been enhanced by the addition of a racing light. What it is just tells you the optimal path to take at each track, and then it also updates real time based on how fast you're going.
If you're tight, sometimes you got to use the throttle to make it turn, or whatever situation you're in, you can definitely make it work.
It really does help you understand tracks that maybe you've had difficulties with, or even the tracks that are new this year. Stories mode basically is before each race starts, something that might happen in real life will happen to other drivers in the game. You might see something like a driver has failed inspection and got sent to the back of the pack, or you might just see something like, well, this guy's the one who's really hot this weekend and he qualified pole. We brought back rivalries that we introduced in NASCAR Heat 2. We refined it a great deal, and we put more emphasis on the presentation of it. If you're nice enough to somebody, they will become your friend, and of course, that's how they'll treat you when you're out on the track. If you tick somebody off, they might give you a little nudge when you're out there as well. After you come out of a race, you'll see social media messages from these drivers saying, hey, it was a great race, or you really ticked me off out there. And you have the opportunity to either compliment them or insult them. It gives you more control of who are your friends and who are your enemies out on the track. We're gonna have a bunch of downloadable content again. After the game is launched, these teams continue to run paint schemes, and we offer it as DLC packs. We also have the NASCAR Heat Hot Pass, which gives you access to any DLC content that we put out from the day the game launches all the way through December.
All clear, side to side. Hold this line, got all the room you need. A couple more turns.
It's like usually you start off these videos with a number of different clips here. And nothing, really to talk about other than, 2 issues I have. We have a clip here at Talladega. I'm trying to figure out where the pack is. We've got like 10 of us here. That, and, William Byron, we're at Charlotte here, and he's kind of driving half on the apron. Not really sure why. But other than that stuff. So right here, this first clip, my man Sean Wilson. So he's answered a lot of stuff on Twitter, and I believe he was the one of the biggest questions, going into NASCAR Heat 3. We knew this before we really saw anything about Heat 3, and that was kind of the gameplay and the AI. And he talked about there being a lot of work being put into the AI for NASCAR Heat 3. And what's the first thing we hear here?
We spent a lot of time working on the AI. We made the...
That's definitely what I want to hear. So we're going to go back in time to my NASCAR Heat 3 wish list. I believe I started off that video with a list of things that had to be fixed for NASCAR Heat 3. One of them, the AI.
We made the top difficulty levels even more difficult.
The top difficulty levels more difficult. Once again, top of the list right there. NASCAR Heat 2 was just flat out too easy. I talked about this, many, many times before, and once again, that was on the Heat 3 wish list. The game had to be more difficult. Once again, we go back to NASCAR Thunder 2004. What makes that game so great? well, a lot of things, but one of the most important things is that game is so damn hard. The game kicks your ass up and down the track. That's why it's so much fun when you go fast in that game. And the same applies to this. You want it to be hard, man. You want to have that struggle. That way it's way sweeter down the line once you finally get running well. In NASCAR Heat 2, I think it was my Cup Series debut. I filled in for Matt DiBenedetto in the 32 car at Martinsville. I went out there and won my first race. You know, it was as simple as that. Like, that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be anywhere close to winning my first race in a 3-star hot seat ride, at least on speed.
They'll take it from you. The
Here we go.
experience should be much more realistic this year.
The pitting experience should be much more realistic this year. Oh, man. This honestly was probably the top on my, like, must fixes for NASCAR Heat 3. Like, when they introduced stage racing, back of my mind for NASCAR Heat 2, there was a part of me that had a feeling that somehow, some way, you know, they were going to mess it up and the AI would just have problems with the, you know, obviously with the stage cautions and the strategy that kind of went into it. And sure enough, we got to NASCAR Heat 2. Oh, man, it was so bad. It was so bad. So many races were ruined because they just didn't pit when they were supposed to. They didn't pit for fuel under the stage caution, so they'd have to pit under green, especially like some of the short tracks like Bristol and Martinsville. And then, you know, obviously I made the right decision, and I would end up lapping the field by like 2 laps and winning the whole rest of the race. That's no fun, man. So who we got left? Eric Almirola. He's the only one left, and he's pitting now. And new leader. So most everybody's probably going to go about 2-3 laps down. About 2 laps down. Jeff Earnhardt up in the second. Pretty sure I was the only car to pit under the stage caution. Like, it just doesn't even make any sense. That's definitely up there for my NASCAR Heat 3 wish list. Man, just get some more realistic strats. Like, it just does not make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Ty Dillon, who flipped earlier, is now up to second. Hasn't pit yet, I guess. That kind of brings me back to another point. Actually, I believe I talked about this once again in my Heat 3 wishlist video, but I felt like that was something that could have been fixed, like with a patch or some sort of something while the game was out. Like, they were still adding DLC for months, and they were, you know, they handed out some patches in NASCAR Heat 2, but that was something, once again, I felt like they could have patched out of the game and they could have fixed or at least improved it some way, somehow. Like, I don't know, but that was one of those things, like, I felt like it could have been fixed and it should have been fixed, but it never got fixed, right? They got to a point where, you know, they released all their DLC and, you know, they were on a NASCAR Heat 3. Once again, I said, you know, if they give up on NASCAR Heat 2 to work on NASCAR Heat 3, there better not be any issues with this game. Or at least no major issues like the pitting strategies for NASCAR Heat 2. So I expect that not to be an issue this year. Of course, we won't know exactly how the game plays until, you know, we sit down and play it for a good couple of weeks. But, you know, if we have any more major issues like that, which, you know, I really hope we don't. But if we do have issues with the gameplay, hopefully we see patches and fixes for them. We've seen patches. We've gotten patches for NASCAR Heat Evolution, NASCAR Heat 2 after the game came out. Not everything was fixed. There's another issue with NASCAR Heat 2. The caution would come out on the white flag, not end the race. Stuff like where they don't even get the rules right. Like, I felt like that's something where, once again, should have been patched. So long story short, with NASCAR Heat 3, if there's any issues with the game, hopefully, you know, after the release, hopefully they get fixed. Don't give up on the game too early. Because I feel like a lot of little issues like that, some bigger than others, don't get me wrong, some issues like that, man, can absolutely ruin the game. And if you have a chance to fix those, fix them before you give up and go to the next game, the next year's game. So I had this clip up here for a while. So we got the Xfinity Series at Bristol. You know, it's kind of funny because I believe after a while, there was it was somewhere between Heat Evolution and NASCAR Heat 2. They made it to where they sort of kind of ran the top side. And right around where they started to get the AI to run the high side, they're back on the bottom now with the PJ1, the sticky stuff they put around the bottom. Now, I would imagine you're not going to see any patches or anything to change this, so this is likely where they will be racing. But it doesn't look too bad. You got, you know, Gallagher up here and a couple other guys. There's Alex Labey, the Canadian. We got some of these guys kind of running the middle line, so it doesn't seem like anybody's right there around the bottom. Perfect world, it'd be cool to see, you know, cars test out every single line on the track for the most part, but I don't think we're going to see that.
Handling of the cars is more refined.
So right there, the handling of the cars is more refined. another issue I had been you bounce off of somebody and it's just the ping pong effect. Driving, you bounce off somebody, just sends you left or right. It's terrible. But this actually looks pretty clean. I didn't realize this was Stenhouse here, hooking a right on my man Bill Byron. This actually looks pretty clean though. Although it does look like it looks like he saves it. Let me play his back and we'll show you. It looks pretty clean.
More refined. We are
Watch
aware
this.
that if we make
That looked pretty good, but once again, it looked like he was going to save it. Now, some of these next clips right here, so at this point, he's kind of talking about, they didn't want to make it a wreck fest, obviously. Real life, some guys are going to save it, some guys aren't. This clip of John Hunter Nemechek we saw in another, little trailer kind of clip preview kind of thing. This looks like something straight out of NASCAR E2. The way he kind of, gets going left and then just, hooks a right, that looks straight out of NASCAR E2. Not a fan of that. We saw those animations in NASCAR E2 where, once again, they either saved it or they didn't. Get to going sideways, and you would see them start to save it, and they would always do one of two things. They would just straighten it right back out, or they would do this crazy, left and then hook a right, just like John Hunter Nemechek is right here in this clip. So, don't know how I feel about that. And that was another thing. We saw that clip. I believe it's in this trailer where Kyle Busch kind of dumps Harvick, I believe, at Pocono in the tunnel turn. Looked like something straight out of NASCAR E2. Right here.
Model as well, so you're not going to be quite as loosey-goosey as you might.
We're not going to be quite as loosey-goosey, which is fine by me. Yeah, so right here we got Bowman getting in the back of Harvick. Look at this. This is some next level stuff. We're going frame by frame. But yeah, so there you have it. Look how slideways he gets. But the thing always just kind of sort of snaps back around. Once again, it looks a lot like NASCAR E2 when it comes to those kind of saves right there. Realistically, I don't think he'd have any chance in hell of saving this, because it looks like he's still in his rear bumper. He should have just turned him square right around. We'll watch this. We'll watch this full time right here. Look at how that thing just snaps back. Don't know how I feel about that. There's another clip of William Byron driving the quarter on the apron there. Now here's something I really like. I believe this was new in NASCAR E2. They really redid the garage setup here, so they brought all the stuff you can adjust on the real life cars. My only problem with NASCAR E2 is that I felt like a lot of the adjustments were very numb, and it was really hard to get a good handle and really change the feel of the car. To me, it always felt like you only got 2 or 3 different feels of the car. Really, it always generally felt kind of the same. It was really hard to kind of tune it to get off, to be loose coming off the corner or be loose going into the corner or so on. Tight getting in the corner, tight coming out of the corner. It was hard to really fine tune it and get the feel you want throughout the corner. Hopefully I would assume we'll see an improvement in that. But yeah, so we got this now. We've basically got these fixed setups. So it's kind of like iRacing almost, where they have pre-built setups. So it looks like you can go stable to loose. But I think this is really good though for a lot of the fans who don't know a lot about setting up cars and making them fast. I'll be the first to tell you, loose is fast. You're probably gonna want to go that route. Obviously, it's gonna be harder to drive, but if you want to go fast, you definitely want to go a little bit looser. But yeah, I think this is good. I don't know exactly. I don't even know if they tell you what changes here, so we don't quite see all of it. But it would be really cool to see if you take it from one end to the other end to see what actually changes in the setup. So, that way it kind of helps you learn and it kind of helps you fine tune. That would be really great. But this is definitely a good step forward. It's obviously, kind of helping you to get faster and learn a little bit more. So I do really like that. Yeah, there you go. So I bet the 360 cam. I guess I'm not even going to be able to use that since I, usually race with the wheel. I do plan on picking it up for PS4. Yeah, that's right. We're going to have Xbox and PS4 multiplayer streams this year. But yeah, I guess I'm really not going to be able to use it on Xbox. I don't really know how that... I guess it's just going to be with the left stick or with the right stick or whatever. But either way, that's a feature that a lot of people really wanted, and I think it's very, very much needed. And you also... you have a 360 cam and you have a look-back cam. So I guess I'll have the look-back cam. Oh, man. Does this remind you of NASCAR Thunder 2004 or what? So basically... we've got practice here, and I guess qualifying has already taken place. We got today's lineup. I mean, this is basically just set up like NASCAR Thunder 2004. When you first kind of hop in the session, at least in 04, you kind of have you got to go through qualifying. You get the qualifying results that scroll through the top there. But yeah, this is really cool. You got that sponsor. You got the sponsor placement. Nationwide is on your side, but this is pretty cool. A nice little addition. I think this is really helpful. As you go out through the season, you know, you'll have points battles, especially once you get into the chase. This will be really helpful to see where people are qualifying, especially who are important to you, so you can kind of see that ahead of time, which is nice. This we already saw. We have like practice mode, so this helps you get acquainted with some of the tracks. This will definitely probably be helpful on the road courses if you don't know your braking points, but so yeah, I mean, this is pretty much like any standard driving line in a racing game, so nothing like too special in my opinion, I guess. But I do like this clip of Chase Elliott. If you really look closely, he's not making this corner. Somebody overshot it a little bit. Look at that thing. Oh, it started to go straight there right at the end. Now we got this next clip, Alex Bowman.
Tight. Sometimes you got to use the throttle to make it turn, or whatever situation you're in, you can definitely make it work.
It's a quality clip by Alex Bowman.
If you're tight, sometimes you got to use the throttle to make.
If you're tight, sometimes you got to make the throttle. Sometimes you got to hit the throttle to make it turn, and that's about all we got from Alex Bowman. Man, look at this. Now here's a clip of this dirt road course that we got for the late models. This is wild looking. I'll tell you that. Now my question is, how are the penalties gonna work? Because you know, if we're coming over here and we're a Holland, am I gonna be able to like overshoot this? There's no curb or anything here, so I don't know if I could just kind of go straight through here through this little shrub or whatever, and just keep on digging, or what if I get a slowdown or whatever penalty for that. But yeah, this looks pretty nuts. I'll tell you what though, just looking at that clip, watch this group of cars right here. Look how like well they grip up here.
That are new this year.
They just like zip right around it like pavement cars. What is that? I just noticed that. I didn't really look at that before.
The tracks that
That's
are new this
wild. They're like not even. They're literally driving around there like a pavement car. Don't like that. I don't like that. I will be 100% honest with you. That's it's a little concerning. But this is really cool though. I really like this. Austin Hill pre-race inspection failure. Failed optical scanning station multiple times. Austin Hill is starting at the back. The number is pending. Approval. Yeah, so I really like this. Hey, this is pretty realistic. Shout out to NASCAR Heat 2. People failing inspection. That's really neat. And it's also awesome that it actually like tells you before the race. You know, I guess me as the player in career mode, I'm assuming you're not going to be able to fail inspection, which is kind of lame if everybody else can, but you can't. I know it sounds kind of weird, but you know, obviously you want everybody to play on the same rules. If the AI cars fail inspection, I want to be able to fail inspection. It almost kind of reminds me of F1 2017, right? Where a lot of those cars, they have like random engine failures and stuff like that. You don't have engine failures. I mean, you can, but it's not really a big occurrence like it is for the AI cars or that. So that's like almost sort of kind of an advantage. So you don't want that advantage, right? You don't want to have, you know, just be immune to always passing inspection, while, you know, some of these important guys, like, you know, if you're having a really close championship battle with somebody and they fail inspection, well, that's kind of lame, right? Especially if, you know, you can't. I don't know how they would even tie that in for you failing inspection, but if you're going to make all the other AI cars fail inspection, I think it'd be only fair to make it to where you could too. So here we go. Harrison Rhodes, pending approval for the number there as well. Harrison Rhodes has been struggling all weekend. Let's see if this team can turn it around. Daniel Hemrick's car is really fast today. Look for this car to take the lead early. So my first impression of this, it's really cool now, but 50 races in, I think it's just going to be something you skip right through, because it seems like most of these things are all basically the same. It's either A or B. They've got a really fast car. Let's see if they can get up to the front. Or, okay, we'll add 3, A, B, and C. They've got a really fast car. They'll get to the front. They've been struggling all week. Let's see if they can get to the front. Or C, they failed inspection. Let's see what happens. Chase Elliott's car is really fast today. Look for the car to take the lead early. Oh, yeah, by the way, nice job there. So Chase Elliott, number 24, and we got the 9 down here. So I would imagine that's probably going to be fixed by the time NASCAR Heat 3 comes out. If it's not, I'm going to roast. So once again, the rivals are back for NASCAR Heat 3. Another an issue with the NASCAR Heat 2 is that the rivals were so bad. They were so bad. It was near impossible to make those rivalries go away. And they're also just like ridiculous. The way, like, well, you kind of play the car contact in there, so they would hit you in really bad spots, and if they hit you the right way, it was almost impossible to save just because the car contact was not very good. So throughout this video, we've heard that they have improved the car contact, or they've improved the car handling. I would assume that's pretty much part of it. So once again, it's kind of like NASCAR Thunder. Only in NASCAR Thunder 2004, it went all the way plus 100 to minus 100. So obviously, you know, a bit more deep. But it's pretty cool, though. We don't know exactly how friends are going to be able to race you on track. Obviously, they won't. They shouldn't be wrecking you. But I don't know if they'll give you a little bit more space or whatever. But once again, we don't know how the rivals are going to race either. So anticipate that, you know, at least the rivals being a whole bit different. But it's pretty much one of those things we're not going to know until we see some gameplay, really. Oh, yeah, by the way, here's this clip of Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch at Pocono.
That's how they'll treat you when you're out on the track.
Okay, I was wrong. It was turn 1. But, yeah, so right on that left rear, and he hits it pretty good.
If you tick somebody off, they might...
He snaps right back. Let's take another look at that. So we're going frame by frame here. Boom! Hits him in the left rear. Now, Kevin Harvick's a very talented driver. What, he's won 7 races already as I record this. Look at this thing hanging out. Like, you know, obviously things can't be perfect. But Cup Series cars, if you haven't noticed, they don't just snap back like that. They don't. Not a lot of race cars snap back like that, period. But yeah, it almost kind of looks like he bounced off the back of Truex there. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. So he doesn't quite like get it all the way back straight. But it definitely doesn't look like he's going all the way around. Yeah, right there, he starts to snap it back. Right there. And then it cuts to the next clip. So once again, something like NASCAR Heat 2. They'd get it really sideways, and they just snap it right back. And here we go. Somebody actually tweeted me this a while back. So you kind of have like a message feed, right? Something we had in NASCAR Heat 2. I believe we had in NASCAR Heat Evolution too. So kind of like Twitter, basically. So with this, we take it a little bit a step farther. So basically in NASCAR Heat 2, you get random tweets based off of stuff you did in your career mode. That was pretty cool, right? This time around, you can basically reply. So you can either compliment them or you can insult them. I don't know who would insult JJ Yeley for telling you you were amazing at a certain track. I know I probably will at some point, just to be stupid, but I guess if you insult people over Twitter, that little friend bar is going to go down. But yeah, Greg Gregson was amazing at Pocono. Compliment or insult. So that's pretty cool. And also, by the way, Spencer Boyd wants to be like Greg Gregson when he grows up. Now here's something. We've actually got a lot of stuff here in the background. First off, we got the little momentum badge. Not really that big of a deal to me. Hopefully they improve that. Oh, don't get me started on the momentum in NASCAR Heat 2. Good idea, poor execution. Long story short, what was it? If you had like 3 top 10s or top 5s in a row, you would get momentum, which was a 10% speed boost. The momentum boost never got anything better than a 10% boost, no matter how long you carried it on. And also, if you had a bad finish the next race, the momentum would be gone. So, long story short, it sucked. Now, with the career mode, you know, you have employees and stuff like that. Hopefully, momentum plays a factor into the career mode. Like, maybe your crew guys work better, they work more efficient, your cars end up quicker, stuff like that. I don't know. There's a million and one things you could do with that. But we're in Season 4 here, apparently, and we've got $9 million in the bank. 330,000 fans. Now, it looks like we're in the Xfinity Series. Season status, Week 16. We've got $9 million in the bank, and the purse over here is $93,000. So I'm under the impression right here that money really doesn't matter at this point. And that's really scary to me. You know, obviously, we don't 100% know the situation. There's a good chance they just skipped all the way to Season 4, and they probably could have coded $9 million in just for shits and giggles. But there's also a real chance that somebody played 4 seasons worth and racked up like $9 million. They could have been playing on easy or whatever. But yeah, if you have this much money at this point, then what's even really the point? You know, they made money a factor this year, and the whole like team and garage and employees and making your cars better. You know, if we're already in the Xfinity Series, and you got $9 million in the bank, then it doesn't really matter then. So, you know, I want that NASCAR Thunder 2004 struggle, man. I want to be fighting for $100,000 each week, if that, just to have enough to repair stuff and just be able to squeak out a factory, you know, improvement or a shop edition. So that's probably one of my biggest worries, because it's something I never really thought about. But that's like, you know, if the money isn't balanced, if the purse money isn't balanced, and a lot of the money isn't balanced in this game, then it's very, you know, I would imagine at some point, like, you could get up to the Xfinity Series in a couple of seasons and money really not be an issue. And then that, you know, kind of takes a lot of the fun out of it. So once again, long story short, we don't know the situation here. But, yeah, hopefully the money is balanced. That way you can, there's that struggle factor. At least I want that struggle factor. I want to make it fun, man. I want to make each race important, to run good, to finish well, take care of your equipment, earn money, and, you know, slowly progress through the ranks with your team. There you go. Here's the last rapid fire clips. And then Kyle Larson loops it coming at us. Which, looks pretty cool. So there you have it, just like that. Yeah, so once again, long story short, basically what I got out of this video is that they worked very hard on, in my opinion, the very most important issues with NASCAR Heat 2. I'm not going to tell you this. Everybody who plays the game, they've got something different or something new that they care about the most. For me, in my opinion, what's most important to me is the gameplay. I don't really care too much about the graphics. I don't really care too much about the online multiplayer. I just care about the gameplay, and I care about the career mode. As long as the gameplay is fun and entertaining to me, I think that's, you know, once again, that's the most important part for me. And you throw in cool career mode details, I mean, that's what makes your game right there. It was really great to watch this video and hear that they talked about some of the, once again, the most important issues to me. The AI, which is basically the bulk of it. The AI, pitting strategy, the car handling. So this is good. This is good stuff. These videos always end up being really long because I like to overanalyze things and kind of talk about things we'll probably see once the game comes out. But you know, I believe they're still probably working on the game, so nobody really knows exactly what we're gonna get until we do get the game. And even then, I'm sure we'll get a couple of patches here and there after the game comes out. But once again, I continue to see the improvement, especially in these videos, and I think they've got their priorities straight. They've worked a ton on career mode, and they've worked a ton on the gameplay, it seems. And those are your key pieces right there. Well done. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it all made sense. And I hope you guys are excited for the game, man. Once again, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna end up getting it on both consoles, for Xbox and PS4. So we're gonna have streams 2 nights a week for online multiplayer. So I hope you guys will come out for those. I'm really excited about that, man. Especially, man, I can't wait for September 7th. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town when the game comes out, but I'm going to get my content out one way or another. But career mode, I'm excited to dive into that. But I'm excited to get the multiplayer streams back, man. We did those in NASCAR Heat 2 for quite a while. And I'm excited to get them going for NASCAR Heat 3 this time around. Finally on PS4. I felt bad because all these people on PS4 were asking me, do I have it for PS4? We're only going to get a PS4 multiplayer stream, but we'll have both consoles for NASCAR Heat 3. So it's going to be a fun year for the NASCAR Heat game. I'll tell you that. But yeah, that'll do it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. It helps me out a ton, but that'll do it. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.